If you're coming to Vienna and you're with a Viking cruise, I'm going to show you the included tour that they have. That way you can see exactly what we do and decide whether you want to take the included tour or perhaps you want to try to do something on your own or one of the other optional tours instead of or addition to. Vienna is a beautiful city and I can't wait to show you. Viking gave us a map of Vienna in case we decide to explore on our own, and a very helpful one-page map of the metro system with directions on which lines and how to use the metro, including how to purchase tickets and how to validate them. They encourage everyone to pick up a bottle of water for the day and scan our card to get off the ship. We left the river cruise ship by motor coach. You can see from all the flags that a large variety of river cruise companies dock here. Our guide gives commentary along the way, and I'll share a little bit of that with you.
Also, a nice landmark would be this church here, please, on the right-hand side, the Emperor's Jubilee Church. This church was erected for the 50-year throne jubilee of Emperor Franz Joseph. Not a good choice. She was an actress. Lily was her name. Very pretty, but unfaithful. Johann Strauss learned about the infidelity, divorced her, and then he made the acquaintance of another lady, Adele. Imagine, 31 years younger. He proposed, she said yes. But now he had a problem. Because he was Catholic and divorced. So what did Johann Strauss do to be able to get married a third time? I just told you he was married 3 times. He changed religion. He converted. Here the wealthiest of the wealthiest lived. Now, as disappointed right away, now almost all the buildings you now see are now owned by banks and insurance companies. There's not one house here privately owned anymore. Many years ago it was Tom Cruise here filming for his then new movie Mission Impossible.
Alright, we unloaded the bus and now we're having our walking tour. Our first stop, he just pointed out the Natural History Museum and he said, "This is where you find the stones and bones." And then this is a fine arts museum ahead of us. This is the Maria Theresa monument, and it's probably best well known that she's the mother of Marie Antoinette. This is called the Maria-Theresien-Platz. We're going to cross the crosswalk here. So he said there's a fine if you are crossing the street, if you cross without going through the crosswalk. So across the way was the Maria-Theresien-Platz. That's the crosswalk that we did. We had to watch for all the bicycles and scooters too, so we didn't get run over. And we're going to go here now to the Hofburg Palace complex. There is a nice map here outside. You could take a picture of it and find out what all of the important sites are. Our group is going through the little gate here to go to the Hofburg Palace complex. Nice shade we're about to get to encounter for a few minutes. Beautiful tall doors. Look how tall. Wow. Definitely worth getting a photo of. Look at the impressive part of the palace right here. Of course, they are mowing the grass. Then we walk through, nice and shady. It's comfortable today inside. Oh. Sticking his tongue out at us. This is the oldest part of the palace, in the 1550s built. Last time we were here, we saw lots of horse and carriages. This time I'm seeing more of these older cars that are giving tours. We were told that if the temperature reaches a certain degree, then they do not allow the horses to do tours, that they are protected. And I was glad to hear that, because we've been on tours in other cities where the horses look like they are really worked way too hard. All around we have the 12 labors of the Greek god Hercules. Okay, our group's going back through another little tunnel. Cece is a nickname for Elizabeth. There is a museum here. This area is actually a car park designed for one car to bring and drop off people here at the palace. Looks like it could be a church with the big cupola, but it's just a car park. The entrance to the museum is right across the way if people wanted to go to the museum during their free time. All right, we're going away from the car park area. Goodbye, lady. And our guide said it's very quiet here today. Not very much traffic, not a lot of tourists, which is really, really good for us. Last time I was here was in December, and it was cold. It's nice not to have to wear a jacket. He did mention to be careful about these concrete blocks. I can imagine if you're walking around taking pictures or videos, you might walk right into one. There are actual Roman ruins here, right in the middle of this area. There's the archway we just came from, so it's just right outside in this plaza. And here is St. Michael's Church. And beside St. Michael's Church is the little street that leads to the major shopping area. We'll be going down that way, I think. We did go down this street. It is a pedestrian street. However, cars are allowed until 11 for making deliveries. I don't know if they're all making deliveries, but they are allowed, so we have to watch our step. Make sure we don't get run over by a car. We need to keep our eye out and watch for that as we walk. Here's an example of one of the coffee houses. Vienna has lots of coffee houses. He said this one is famous for its pancakes that they brutally chop up and smother with things. He also told us that if you're at a coffee house, you do not ever get asked to leave. He said that the coffee of Vienna is the melange. That's what you should order. It's coffee and then milk foam. That sounds really, really good. Maybe not right now because it's about 80 degrees outside. Okay, we came from there. We walked down this little street. And it ends up in this spot where if you want to go shopping, you can max out your credit cards very quickly. A little construction there in the center. Here is an art display that's supposed to say we use too much plastic. It's always modern art. He said it changes pretty regularly. Last time we were here, it was all decorated for Christmas because we were on a Christmas markets tour. One of the first churches built in 1702. And Mozart once lived behind the church. This is the Holy Trinity column, right in the center of the street. Lots of people like to pose for a photo here. Our guide mentioned they do have pickpockets here. Keep your purses closed, hands on your valuables. Not a huge problem, but it will happen. Pretty fancy hot dog stand. Lots of sausages here that you could eat. Need a drugstore, look for the Apothecary. That will get you all settled. And we're coming up close to the St. Stephens Cathedral. Our guide explained our meeting spot. So he told us that if we want to go in and see the church, you can walk in, turn left, take some photos, and that's free of charge. But if you go on further into the church, there will be an admission. He will meet us here in about an hour and gave us the meeting spot that he will have. I'm sure if you come, it may be a different meeting spot. But we are right in front of the Apothecary, World of Souvenirs, and the Lint store. That's dangerous, a place to wait. So that's where the entrance is, where people are pouring in. If you wish to purchase a ticket, you can purchase it at a little ticket booth right there. But you can also walk to the left and see several things. There's also an entrance to the catacombs that had a ticket price, but I'm not exactly sure how you would get to that. Strike my earlier comment. There's a horse and carriage right there. So I guess some are in the city today. Maybe that's more of a winter thing where you see lots of them out and about. During our free time, we went on search of a bathroom. Our guide told us that we go to the big Swarovski store. They have complimentary restrooms. You go down the escalators to find them. Here is that big store, the top. It's the Crystal Welton store. And it's at the corner of Marco de Aviano. I see a street sign against the wall of the building. Let me go look at the street sign so I can tell you what street we're on. Korntnerstrasse. So we came down from the front of the St. Stephen's Church. So we walked right in front of the church in this direction on the Korntnerstrasse. And when we go back to our meeting spot, we will go back up this street here. There's a great water station here. You can drink, stay hydrated. Not a bottle filling station as such very easily, but you can drink from it or fill a bottle from it. We walked back toward the meeting spot, admiring the ceramic mosaics on the cathedral rooftop. They were much easier to view from the side streets. We met our guide back at the cathedral. He gave us about 1 minute, so make sure you're on time. At 4, we were told to be back at 11:30, and at 11:31 we were walking toward the motor coach. And it is a long line of motor coaches. It's good to be with your guide, because so many tours are here in the city today. If we come back by the underground, there's the station right across that stops from the ship. We reboarded the motor coach and headed back to the ship. So, what was my impression of Viking's included tour of Vienna? It was at an easy pace and it was level streets. I calculated my steps, almost 5,000 steps from the time we got off the motor coach until we ended up at the cathedral. There were times of standing and listening to our guide speak. So if you have a lot of difficulty standing for long periods of time, I did see someone that had one of those walking sticks with the fold-down seat. Looked very handy. I found one on Amazon, and I'll link that in my description below in case something like that sounds good to you. And I will be transparent. If you happen to purchase anything from my links on the Amazon account, I do get a little commission, so help a gal out. It's also a good time for me to say, hey, if you found anything helpful like this video, that helps me with YouTube, and leave a comment. That also helps, any kind of engagement. It lets YouTube know that my videos are helpful, and it shoots them out to more people, and I appreciate it. Thanks. During free time, I walked probably 1,500 more steps, and our walk back to the motor coach from the cathedral was another 1,200 steps or so. Then when we parked, it was really close to the entrance of the ship. just another 30 steps. So all in all, without any of the free time really included, it was about 5,300 steps. If it is your first time visiting Vienna, or perhaps the only time you plan to be in Vienna, I recommend this walking tour to give you a good overview of the city and what you can see and do. It was explained to us that if you wanted to leave the tour without going back to the ship and just do something on your own after you arrived, that was just fine. You could make your own way back to the ship. I thought it might be nice to go to the Hofburg Palace, but I found out it is not air conditioned, and that might have been quite uncomfortable in the summer heat while we were here. But I also found out that the gardens are free. We chose to come back to the ship, enjoy lunch, and rest up a little bit because we decided to book the Viennese concert that Viking offered as an optional excursion, and it wasn't even going to start till 8 p.m. So we thought a little rest in the afternoon might be good so that we're not napping through the concert this evening. This is Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.